Managed Namespace in AKS is a pre-configured Kubernetes namespace. It provides very safe boundaries inside the shared cluster with built-in support such like default network policy, default resource quota, and rollbacks.
Hey folks, welcome to another episode and another season of AKS Me Anything. We're here today with Ximeng, who has been working on the team that is doing a lot of cool stuff for our developers that use Kubernetes and AKS directly. In a lot of cases, a lot of folks need to have or have a platform team that sets things for them. In a lot of cases, they already expect a fully configured environment and fully opinionated environment. And so I know you've been working with a team that is working a lot in Automatic as well. What are some of the things that you've been working on that you're excited about?
Sure. Super excited about I'm working on is Managed Namespace.
Managed Namespaces.
Yeah.
Very good. What is Managed Namespaces?
Managed Namespace in AKS is a pre-configured Kubernetes namespace that Azure set up for the manifold users, and it provides very safe boundaries inside the shared cluster with built-in support such like default network policy, default resource quota, and rollbacks. Which will save the user time to create a namespace themselves. Yeah.
Very good, very good. And so where team before would have to, for example, maybe manually provision things using Kubernetes APIs and or other projects out there, now you're actually going to be able to have that pre-provisioned for you? How does that work? Not following. What's the difference between a normal namespace and a managed namespace?
So the managed namespace actually is managed by ARM, and so
ARM meaning Azure Resource Manager.
Yes.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, Resource Manager. So actually, we have, for example, in the managed namespace, we have the we call the default resource quota, which will define the CPU memory limits and requests. In the meantime, we have 3 default network policies which will restrict some incoming traffic, outbound traffic. Meantime, also we have the adoption policy. Later, I can show you a demo, which is super interesting, like how can you switch from a managed to unmanaged, then back to managed. And also we have the delete policy to make sure if you don't want to use the managed namespace anymore, so you can configure that and to delete the namespace. Yeah.
Okay, very cool. So now you don't need to, or you don't have to create them via the Kubernetes kind of data plane. You're actually going to be able to create them through ARM as your control plane. The resource manager is the same way that you create a cluster. You're also going to be able to create a namespace?
Yes.
Interesting. And delete it, and what other things can you do?
You can update. For example, you can update resource quota. You can update your network policies.
Oh, interesting. So you can also have a lot of those properties that namespaces have all available for you through ARM as well for me. Oh, I'd love to see how that works.
Yeah,
I'm very
of course.
Curious.
Let's see a demo.
Oh, you have a demo?
Yeah,
yes.
I have a demo.
Let's see that. All right.
Okay. Let's quickly do that. First, I will show the demo is from the portal side.
Okay.
So as you can see here, so when we search the managed namespaces on the portal, so you can see there's an icon, and then you can click the create, and then you can see, oh, there's a subscription you can choose, and you can choose what managed cluster you want to use, and then you can just give the name and set up the resource quotas, network policies, and then it will start to create it. Then here you can also choose the rollback access permissions. You can also something like that. Later, the user can view the managed namespace, or if he can create a resource inside the managed namespaces. So we have some roles to restrict that. Meantime, you can also configure the labels right here and annotations and tags.
So these are all metadata from the namespace that you configure directly from portal.
Exactly.
From very cool.
Yeah.
And can I only do that at existing clusters?
You can also do not only existing clusters, because there's also a place you can, for example, you could go to the Kubernetes cluster and you choose the DevOps tab, and there you can see there's a managed Kubernetes space. You can just create them in parallel.
Yeah. Very cool. And so in these cases, you're creating a cluster, but you're also creating all the managed namespaces within that cluster, or at least the ones that you have at create. And then later on, you can also create more and add more using the same mechanism that you did on the first one.
Yeah,
very,
exactly.
very cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So this is how you kind of create it using Portal and all these different things. And this is kind of from a perspective, I assume, of more like that platform administrator that is setting the cluster up for their development teams.
Yeah.
Or maybe with the developer team that has the full ownership of the cluster. So if that was a platform administrator and created that namespace for me, and with those policies, what's the experience that I, as a developer, then see when I start using this cluster and this namespace? Do you have something to show me for that?
Of course. I think from developer side, we can use CLI, which is super convenient.
Oh, cool. So you also obviously show Portal. Let's take a look at the CLI as well.
So let's start with this CLI things. So the first one I want to show you is, for example, once we configure the default resource quota you want your namespace has, and then we can create some deployment.
Right.
And so if your deployment resource quota is beyond what you configure for this namespace. For example, I created the 2 deployments, and so the second deployment is over the number, the resource quota CPU limited request is higher than what we desire.
Right.
Then it will stop create a deployment. It will fail because it will show some message like the pod is not created because the CPU request limit is over the desired setting.
Very
so
good.
Something
very good.
like this.
So you can't do more than what you were granted, of course.
Yes, of course. Yeah. The next thing I want to talk about is about network policy.
Okay.
Since we have 3
so that's something that you set. I saw that when you created the namespace, there was kind of a default network policy. I'm curious to see how that works.
Yes. So the default network policy we have is deny all, allow all, and allow same namespace.
Got it.
So deny all means we just deny all traffic and allow traffic and allow same traffic, allow traffic on the same namespace, for example.
Right.
So when deny all, I create my managed namespace, and I create a pod in the managed namespace. Then I create another namespace. Similar things, create another pod in this other namespace. So I'm trying to make a call from the other namespace and to my namespace, managed namespace.
Right.
Then if the managed namespace default policy for the ingress rule is deny all, then this shouldn't happen because it's going to get a timeout because you cannot call from outside.
Right. So your default policy says only traffic within this namespace, and you're trying to access it from outside.
Yes.
So the expected result here is something like a timeout.
Yeah, it's going to get a timeout.
Right.
So like you said here is we have the we are trying to get we are trying to call that. So you can see here is a timeout message.
Perfect. So the policy is correctly blocking it. And we didn't do anything. The only thing you did was you use those namespaces that you created in the portal, and you deploy these 2 deployments, and then try to connect them, and as expected, they didn't work. Cool.
Yes. And the next thing I want to show you here is since we set deny all for ingress, but we set allow all for egress.
Right.
So now if I want to make a call to the outside world, let's say I want to call the Google, right? So I just try to make a call in the pod. And then you can see here, I can fetch the Google metadata from this pod.
Perfect.
In my managed namespace.
So the egress is working.
Egress is working as well.
Very good. Very good. Yeah, so that's two very key scenarios. Curious now, as you start to look more at the next set of, I guess, operations that you have for managed namespaces as operators, what kind of things can I do beyond creating the namespace, I suppose? What kind of other things can I go and delete this namespace as a developer? Can I go and what other things?
Yeah,
should
of course. You can do update and delete for sure. And the one thing I want to mention here is about the adoption policy.
Okay.
Here we have 3 policies. We call the never, always, and if identical.
So what's an adoption policy?
Adoption policy is used to let unmanaged namespace become managed
Oh, adopting
Yeah,
the
something
namespace
adopting
as a
namespaces.
oh, that
Yeah,
makes sense. Okay,
yeah.
the name should have given it away. So
Yeah.
you're adopting a namespace that is unmanaged into
Yes.
this managed scenario. That's cool that we allow that. Okay.
So the first one I want to show you is, for example, the managed namespace adoption policy now is never, but there's already a namespace existed in the current cluster.
Okay.
So if I want to make that namespace become a managed namespace, then I will receive an error because I cannot make it because it's never.
Got it. And so there are commands that we can use to do that adoption. And this policy gates that. So I can just go and run a command. You're running it here, right?
Yeah, I run that
in this namespace add command with the existing one.
Yeah.
And in this case, because the policy is never, this will, as expected, fail.
Yes, this is expected. So that's why you can see here it said it's already existed. You cannot do that.
Right.
The second thing I want to show you is the always. So always means you can, no matter that namespace exists or not, but I want to convert it to become a managed namespace.
Right.
But the precondition is we also think about there's a lot of system component namespace like
default
system, default. We don't want to override those namespaces.
Right.
So that's why we are using a toggle to control it, and we are not allowed to do that. But besides for those namespaces, we should be able to convert those unmanaged to managed.
So if it's a user namespace, this would convert it. So you did the kind of the same command, right?
Yeah,
with the add, but now the policy was always. So it did convert. It became a managed namespace. Oh, cool.
It become namespace. Yeah. And the last one I want to show you is if identical, the adoption policy. So which means, for example, the user now I have a managed namespace, and after a few days I want to let it become unmanaged, and then after a few days I want to go back again, and I want to become managed. Okay. So then I just need to use if identical.
Why would I want to do that? Just because I want it to become. Just because I can, or is there a real scenario that would make me want to make up unmanaged and manage again?
Maybe I think he will think, oh, this is easy, and he doesn't want to. Maybe he has very little knowledge about how to set up network policy. And
so the user might want to. It starts like this using managed namespaces because maybe they don't have a lot of maybe Kubernetes deep understanding.
Yeah,
then they maybe get some of that understanding, so they don't want to be fully controlled by the managed namespaces anymore. So they might want to have just a regular namespace from there onwards.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. So in this case, I just use if identical option. So which is just try to first by making my namespace managed namespace become unmanaged. Okay. And then I just run the CLI command to use if identical. Then it can turn back. And to manage by ARM, the label can be added, and which means this namespace has become a managed namespace right now.
Got it. So all namespaces will have this metadata to indicate if they're managed or not, and you can also...
Yes.
Okay.
And the logic here is make sure the label annotation and all the default resource quota and default network policy should be identical as before. So then it should trigger if identical logic check, then it will become a managed namespace again.
Right. Yes. If they're not, error message?
Yeah, if not equal, something one of them not equal, then it will receive an error message.
Okay, very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I like that we are able to adopt and we are able to have the admins control if you can adopt or not. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And the next thing I want to show you is about, since you mentioned how to delete, right? So right here, for example, if delete has two options, one is called keep, one is called delete. So the difference between them is keep is just to delete the managed namespace resource, but I will keep this namespace in Kubernetes cluster.
Right. So delete the representation in ARM, but keep the actual resource. Got it.
The next, the delete option is just to delete both.
Delete.
Gone.
Makes sense.
So if I just delete my managed namespace with delete option, delete policy is a keep, then you will see the delete, the namespace still exists in the Kubernetes cluster. But if I run an update command to update the delete policy to become delete.
Mm-hmm.
Then I just run CLI again to delete this managed namespace.
Mm-hmm.
Then it eventually is totally gone from the cluster as well.
Right. It feels to me a bit like almost the reclaim policy on kind of persistent volumes, where you can decide if when you delete the object, you want the represented storage to go, or the linked storage to go, or not.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah. And another interesting thing here I want to introduce is about this webhook things.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say.
So we have some webhooks.
Yeah, we have some webhooks.
Okay.
So if this namespace is a managed namespace, then you will see the label actually managed by ARM, right, added to this namespace.
Okay.
Like here, and then you will find you cannot update or delete this managed namespace using Kubernetes API, the traditional way to do that, because there's a webhook to prevent user from editing that.
I see. Right, because otherwise people could be manipulating it via ARM or via Kubernetes, even unknowingly, and then that could race basically, right, and get out of sync, etc. So this webhook basically prevents that. So if it's a managed namespace, you have to operate it in the managed fashion.
Correct. You have to using that way to edit your managed namespace.
Awesome.
Yeah. I think that is what I want to show today, but it's super interesting.
That is pretty cool. That looks awesome. I mean, so thank you so much for showing us that was pretty cool. And so is this fully out now?
Yes, we are trying to make it. Right now it's in preview.
Awesome.
And we are targeting to become GA as soon as possible.
Awesome.
So we want to see many users.
And is this available in like AKS Automatic and AKS Standard, or is it available only in one of them? Where is it available today?
It's available in all AKS Standard and Automatic as well.
Oh, nice. So you get it in both Standard and Automatic. Pretty cool. Well, thank you very much, Ximeng. One quick question to wrap up. Maybe it's not quick, so I'll have to ask you to make it a bit quick. So you've just shipped this, you're looking to GA. As you look towards the future a bit more as well, what are you most excited about that you're working on?
I think we can maybe later we can have more network policy option we can add into the managed namespace. And in the meantime, I think the AKS Automatic and also AKS Fleets can take advantage of this managed namespace as well, because it's super interesting. Yeah.
Oh, so you're thinking of the additional ways in how AKS Automatic, for example, will simplify things like instrumentation and more by leveraging these kind of managed namespaces. And I'm very curious, what do you mean by Fleet? Like, how would Fleet use managed namespaces? What are we thinking there?
My understanding is it can easily to deploy the namespace on the Fleet cluster, so which is save a lot of time.
Oh, so then you deploy it in the Fleet hub, so it would like have the same managed namespace across multiple clusters and the same. Oh, okay. So in that case, you could open up possibilities like all those quotas and all those things. You can actually restrict them across cluster and have that same concept and same namespace across clusters.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Very interesting. Well, thank you very much for coming to us. To you all back home, as always, thank you for attending another AKS Me Anything. As usual, don't forget to like and subscribe to our AKS community to get all of these videos and everything. We pretty much have almost daily videos coming out for you from Monday to Friday. Let us know in the comments if you like it or what other things you'd like us to touch on the next AKS Me Anything. And see you in the next one.
See you.